Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Christmas edition of Shelf Discovery. Let me know you're here by posting something in the comments. Remember, this is an interactive program, and I welcome your comments, your perspectives, always whether or not they agree with my own or the book that we're reviewing. Hey, Jason. You're always spot on with this program, and I'm grateful. I'm sure that you'll offer me some interesting questions. I like your questions. They always challenge me. Hey, Christina. Nice to have you here. Let me know you're here, folks, as you join us so that you have to put something in the post. Gita is another one of my regulars now. And yes, Jason, I'm shocked and surprised. It's good to have you and Gita here. And I think, Gita, you might be a Jason convert in that he might have tipped you off to this program, but I'm really glad that you're both here. Hi, Pam, you're another regular. Gee, I'm actually able to call you all regulars. And Madeline, good evening. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. We've got an interesting subject matter tonight, one that is not alien to true students of Unity, but it is interesting what we're going to explore this evening. And I am grateful that you're here again. Just this reminder that if you are here, let me know by posting something in the chat, and then keep on posting, because this is all about us learning and growing together. I never like to take the position of somebody who knows anything that you don't know or that anyone doesn't know. I'm just here to serve as a conduit or a facilitator. I like that word, a facilitator of whatever process unfolds through us tonight. So thanks all for being here. And again, keep it going, keep it active, ask your questions, and share, above all, share your perspectives. You know, I've always believed this about our community at Unity on the Bay. We are a band of spiritual geniuses. And I have certainly over the years learned as much, if not more, from you than you have ever learned from me. But there is something to be said for opening ourselves to being a conduit through which the presence of God communicates to ourselves, of course, through prayer and meditation, and then to one another in experiences like this. So welcome, all of you Christed beings. I'm grateful that you're here. Boo. Everybody thinks Jason is their sweetheart. And you know why they do that? Because he is. All righty, let's gradually roll into a book that we have, that I have shared from before. In fact, I taught a whole class on this for over a year. It's called The Way of Mastery. It's a beautiful book, purportedly brought to us by the voice of Jesus. And so you'll hear this evening, and if you ever get engaged in this book, you'll read it certainly in the pages, that this is being presented as the voice of Jesus, the one whose birth we are celebrating in just a few days. So I thought it would be appropriate to go to this book tonight. And I was drawn to a particular piece of its content that even in my previous readings, I recall this, but it must not have stuck solidly, or it would have become an annual Christmas practice for me. Because as I was reading it this morning in preparation for sharing with you tonight, it was very powerful for me. You are more than welcome to be here, Gita, and I miss seeing your physical presence, but I love touching base with you on Monday nights in this program. Ready to be challenged? Well, this is the challenge of a lifetime, because what we're going to do here tonight, or what we are being given the option to do, is to, and we say this a lot in Unity, but at the Christmas season it seems particularly relevant, is to no longer merely worship the Christ, or Jesus Christ who lived 2,000 years ago, no longer to just theorize about what it means to live a Christed life, but to, and that's what I love about this book, The Way of Mastery, to actually let the rubber hit the road and actually begin to experience ourselves in day-to-day reality as the presence of the Christ, which, if you're familiar with Unity, you know that we believe the presence of the Christ is the presence of the divine identity within each and every one of us. And I can't think of a better time of year to talk about that, to explore it, than right now at Christmas. So let's just roll into this. I'm on tonight, page 131. I have shared with you from this book before, and I'm sure I'll share with you again. But here we are, celebrating our rebirth as the Christ. Now, I know we talk a lot about this Christ nature in Unity, and I know it's kind of very idyllic, and for some it seems a fantasy. But what we're talking about here is actually rebirthing ourselves as a Christed presence. That is, in the midst of the awareness of the divinity that we are, and not really even striving to live as the Christ, simply living as the Christ. And it's not as difficult as it sounds. It's so mysterious, the Christ. It's really just about being nice, being kind, being understanding, being compassionate. All of these are the qualities of the Christ. And they're what we look up to and revere so much in the man Jesus. Okay, here we go. Celebrate your rebirth as the Christ. Count the days from this day until the 25th of December. Or if you are reading these words at another time of year, simply choose a date, approximately 7 weeks in the future, signifying for your day of rebirth. Now, we're a little close. We don't meet that 7-week criteria, but I still thought I was going to bring this up tonight because we have a journey from now until Christmas Day that we could use as a launching pad or a kickoff for this practice, and then set a date 7 weeks approximately into the future. He says, let each day be seen as a step, a pilgrimage, a completion of a very ancient circle. Let each day be one in which you reaffirm your commitment to releasing everything unlike love in yourself. Releasing everything unlike love in yourself. That's the journey. For me, it's the journey now between now and Christmas Day, and I'm going to continue this practice as prescribed for the 7 weeks between now and whenever those 7 weeks expire. So this reminds me of my good friend Kevin Rice, who you may know, he created these bracelets, the little rubber type bracelets, and on his bracelet, which he's distributed thousands of these bracelets around South Florida, and I'm sure he's still peddling them on the streets now of Palo Alto and San Francisco and San Jose. But on the bracelet, it simply says, what would love do now? These have been generated out of his organization called Only Loving Thoughts. So what this is about here is holding within our minds only loving thoughts. I don't know if you've ever tried to do this. I have, and I would like to say it's become a permanent lifestyle, but I go in and out of it. I still occasionally find myself wrestling with thoughts that are not loving toward myself and toward other individuals. What an incredible way, don't you think of, hi, Glistine, how are you, sweetheart? Flowers to you. There, I did it again. It's becoming a Monday night shelf discovery habit of mine to lose my train of thought because I'm seeing you all come on, and I love that as much as I love sharing these words. But just to go for a period of time, just sort of test yourself. This is such a great time to do this because the Christ presence is more prevalent in consciousness right now, don't you think, with Christmas? And so it's a little easier to tap into sort of the love field. And it's a little easier to know when you're not in touch with that love field. I always forget. I forget too. Do you think that Jesus ever lost his temper or got angry? I don't know. They say that when he was in the temple, he got pretty riled and knocked over the tables and the money changers and so forth. I don't know whether he lost his temper or not, or got angry. But what I would say is that if he did, he was probably as gentle and loving and forgiving with himself and his humanity as we all seek to be. Yeah, he did flip a he did flip a table or two, Jason, according to the accounts. But I don't imagine that he chastised or condemned himself too much afterward, because we have to be accepting of all dimensions of ourselves, which includes the divine. It also very much includes the human experience that we might be sharing. Jason, he also wasn't happy about his mother asking him to turn water into wine. No, he wasn't. It's like, aren't we the same way? Give me a miracle. I need a miracle here. I need some proof for myself and for the rest of the world. All right, back to the Way of Mastery. This is Shelf Discovery, and we are exploring the content of books, but I'm having fun in the process tonight. And I'm actually really in the Christmas spirit, not only of goodwill, but of lightheartedness and humor. So he says, love in yourself. Oh, pardon me. Let each day be one in which you reaffirm your commitment to releasing everything unlike love in yourself, so that as you come to December 25th or your appointed day, you will dedicate yourself to being prepared for it. And wait a minute, here comes Jason again. Like, can the man just go enjoy the party? You crack me up, Jason. Gita, I have made agreement. I see life through the eyes of Source a few years ago, and it gets better and better and better over the years. Thank you, Gita. I wholeheartedly agree. We call this way of life a practice for a reason. We're practicing, and that's what he's talking about in Way of Mastery tonight. Actually designating a time on the calendar. He's saying 7 weeks. In which we're going to commit ourselves to practicing this, because it is only through practice and increased awareness of the thought train that is going on in our mind that we're really able to begin to make conscious decisions about where we are investing our energy and our attention and our thoughts. And the more keenly we become aware of this, the more we can catch ourselves. And I will say that much. I don't linger in fearful or negative thoughts like I used to. I'm just now combing my mind to say, am I speaking truth? But I believe that's true. I just know better. I guess that's what I would say. Was it Maya Angelou that said, know better, do better? Or was that Oprah? Or was it both of them? All right, let me get back here. He says then, on December 25th or the eve of your chosen day, go to bed early enough and in quiet and prayer, so that you can awaken before the first rays of the new day caress the earth. Take yourself outdoors, even if you must bundle up the body. I'll be doing that next week quite a bit when I make my trip to Missouri. Make haste to a place of vision, a place where you can look out over wherever you live. Let that represent your ability to look out over all of creation. Jason, I would say write down the unloving thoughts. That helps me find recurring unloving thoughts. They are more repetitive than I ever thought. Awesome, Jason. Thank you. Write them down. Let's see. Marina already has her date picked, February 7th. That's awesome. It does help to write them down, because thoughts can be very elusive. You've got to grab them while you can and sort of put them in some kind of finite form. And yes, then there's a tendency to be more aware of how frequently we're thinking them. So he says, take yourself outdoors, bundle up, find a place where you can look out over where you live. Let that represent your ability to look out over all creation. There, turn to face the direction of the arising sun and go into simple prayer. Close your eyes, realize that you see nothing through the physical eyes anyway. Interesting. Stand with the arms at the sides and the palms open. Breathe deeply into the body. Relax the mind and begin simply to say within yourself, death has occurred, and now the birth of Christ is at hand. And I think right there, the word death immediately prompts different things in different people. But what he's really saying, the death of the old understanding of yourself. And now the birth of Christ is at hand. Father, I accept fully your will for me. Your will is only that I be happy and use time to extend my treasure. Now I receive the warmth of your light and your love. So this is a conscious intention for which we've practiced our way into this day, 7 weeks, February 7th, as we have been enlightened on that. Just begin the process. I think there is something to be said for setting this into a calendar timetable, because it keeps us on the practice. It's just like Course in Miracles with the lessons every day, or Daily Word, where you're getting a word of inspiration every day. Father, I accept fully your will for me. Your will is only that I be happy and use my time to extend my treasure. And of course, the treasure is light and love. Now I receive the warmth of your light and love. Then merely stand and wait. Receive the warmth of the sunlight. For rest assured, even if the skies are cloudy, as the sun arises, there's a change in the energy of the air. You're quiet. You can feel how it begins to affect the energy sphere of your awareness and your body. Drink that solar energy in through every cell of your body. Drink it in through every cell of your body. Drink it in until you feel your very spinal column warmed by it. And when the whole body, from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes, down through each finger, is filled with light, then gently open the eyes of Christ and let yourself see a new world, a new creation, a new beginning. So this is a process, my friends, and it's a beautiful one to engage in. It actually reminds me of Advent, where we take those 4 weeks to spiritually prepare ourselves by infusing thoughts of love and peace and hope and joy into our consciousness. But you see, Christmas is a wonderful, albeit brief period of the year where we set about the conscious intention of becoming better at following the model established by Jesus Christ. But it needs to become a year-round activity. So whether it's Advent, whether it's Lent, whether it's Course in Miracles, Daily Word, to have some form of practice that keeps us focused on our objective. Jason, I once thought that being like the Christ was about being perfect. Boy, was I wrong. I now see it as becoming the next greatest version of myself. You know what? I couldn't agree with you more, Jason. And I would say that perhaps it's not that we're not perfect, but that we could stand to give ourselves a new definition of perfection. Is it possible? I believe it is. Is it possible for us to be perfect even in what our own minds would call imperfection? Because I don't think this expansion of the universe has an end date, a date of expiration. I think we're constantly expanding. And thus, we are constantly stepping into a new, deeper awareness of who we are. So every day becomes an unfoldment toward this Christ example. And maybe even the process itself is perfect and Christed. Something to think about. But thank you, Jason. You always make me think and always drive me into different directions of thought. And I really do appreciate that. Where were we now? And when the whole body, from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes and down through each finger, is filled with light, then gently open the eyes of Christ and see a new world, a new creation, a new beginning. Now the journey to the kingdom is over, and the journey within can begin. Graduate school, he says, is just around the corner. When you journey back home on that December 25th morning, or whatever morning of your chosen day it may be, do something that celebrates your birthday. Not mine, yours. You know, it's interesting to me that all of my life, I don't think there's ever been a year that I didn't have a Christmas tree. And I may have shared this with you last week, but I didn't have a Christmas tree. I've always had Christmas trees, decorations. I've always been invested in the external experience of Christmas. And this year, I really decided that I didn't want to do that. I decided that I wanted to have a deeper experience of what this Christmas season was all about. And nothing wrong with all the festivities and decor. They're beautiful, and I love them, and I love to see them in other people's homes and on other people's homes and all around me. I love the carols and all of that. Christmas is a beautiful time of year. But I wanted to move beyond that and try to experience something a little deeper. And for me, what that was the recognition that Christmas is truly a birthday, not only for Jesus, but for myself as well. Gita says, every moment is already perfect, yet we humans see ourselves as incomplete and not perfect. Thank you, Gita. It's like we forget that we are responsible for defining ourselves. Does that make sense? We're the ones defining ourselves. It's not like God or some heavenly power or orchestration has defined us. We're defining ourselves in every moment. And one thing I have come to believe is that according to our definition of ourselves, so is our experience, so is our life, so are our relationships. So yes, I believe it is possible to redefine ourselves, Gita, not as being incomplete, not as being unworthy. And of course, that's the whole journey of spiritual awakening, and so much a part of the core of unity teaching. Let's see here. So graduate school is just around the corner. You're not going to be journeying to the kingdom. You're going to be journeying within it. When you journey back to your home on that December 25th morning or the morning of your chosen day, do something that celebrates your birthday. Not mine, yours. I can handle taking care of my own celebration. I really do believe this. I think that if Jesus wants us to celebrate our birthday, it would certainly be by following this prescription to the best of our ability to release ourselves from the confines of unloving and I would say untrue thoughts and thinking into a more liberated rendition of ourselves. Let's see what Nancy has to say. Laugh out loud. There is no punishment if we do anything wrong. Yeah. You know, isn't it interesting, my friends, how the human mind has arrived at all these conclusions about what's right and wrong. Thank you, Gita. I appreciate that. And then not only have we decided what's right and wrong for ourselves and everybody else here in the game, but we have also decided that punishment is necessary for the wrongdoing. And I think all of that is crazy making. I really do. As opposed to loving and accepting ourselves exactly as we are without judgment and certainly without condemnatory or harsh judgment. And I think that's what this process he's suggesting. Set up a time. He's going with 7 weeks. I am definitely going to do this between now and Christmas Day, and then I'll continue it. Thank you for letting us know that February 7th was the date. Nancy says, the phrase be still and know just came up for me. Yeah, in stillness and in silence, my safety and my security lie. And also lies a new definition of myself. And I could even say, I think that as far as Christ goes, Christ in any given moment would be the highest definition that I can give myself, the most peaceful definition, the most loving definition. Let me wrap this up. The new age, the new day has dawned. Never again will you be able to convince yourself that there is an excuse for believing in anything that is less than an enlightened Christ consciousness. That sounds like a good place to be. However we define the Christ, the highest and best that we are capable of in any given moment. Regardless of when you may be reading these words, the same truth applies. Choose a date to signify your day of rebirth and surrender to this process that I have described each day until that day arrives. Your instruction is given. Reflect well on what has been given, for we have been stepping into some very simple but powerful initiations. And indeed we have. Beloved friends, reflect well on all that has been shared. Do not take it lightly, although it is only filled with light. Consider well each phrase, each sentence, and even the spaces between the words, for in those spaces, revelations can come. It is time to birth fully the presence of the peaceful Christ within you. So, my friends, at this Christmas season, it is my invitation to you to step up to the plate, to realize that you have everything you need to accept this new definition for yourself. Put together whatever program works for you. This is a 7-week program. Great. But a program that works for you and being able to better monitor yourself in terms of what's going on in your mind, especially in those moments when you may find yourself in that, I call it the spiral to hell, where you're completely unaligned with loving thoughts. And let this be a time to really take these beautiful lyrics of Christmas carols to a deeper level and let them become living realities in our life. The one thing I can say about my years of spiritual study is I may or may not be perfect, depending on somebody's definition. I may or may not be an exemplification of the Christ, but I am more loving, more peaceful, and more joyous than I've ever been in my life. And I don't say that from a place of superiority. I think the invitation is extended to all of us. And I know all of you are more than equipped to be able to handle this journey between now and Christmas Day, and however long you determine to prescribe this program of cleansing your mind so that you can see clearly as the Christ present sees, as God sees. That, to me, would unquestionably be the finest Christmas gift of all. This is my last episode with you until after the new year, because next week I will be in Kansas City, Missouri, in the embrace of my family and my beautiful 11-year-old granddaughter, now going on 21. So Carmen Navedo has offered to step in. She's going to be sharing with you from the pages of Myrtle Fillmore's Healing Letters, which is a beautiful book written by the co-founder of the Unity Movement. And Carmen is a beautiful representative, not only of spirit, but of self-discovery and unity on the Bay. So please plan to be with her next Monday, 6 p.m. And then I'll be back after the new year. Pam says, thank you, Pam. Merry Christmas to you too. I may not be what I want to be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be. I love that. Invitation accepted. We'll be back in Miami mid-January. Looking forward to seeing you in person. Oh, you'll get the biggest hug I can possibly offer, Gita. I love you. I admire you with all my heart. And I love and admire all of you with all my heart. It is my heartfelt wish that you have a beautiful, joyous holiday season. If you can, if you're in Miami, join us this Friday evening, Christmas Eve, for our Christmas Eve candle lighting. Would love to see you there. It's going to be a beautiful service, I know. And we also have on New Year's Eve, 6:30 p.m., same time, different day, December 31st, we have our Burning Bowl ceremony. And then on January 2nd at the Sunday celebrations, Reverend Juan will be facilitating the White Stone ceremony. All of these are beautiful holiday rituals that I guarantee you will deepen and enrich your holiday season. From my heart to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and love to you tonight and every day and every moment of your eternal life. God bless you. Merry Christmas.